Hey folks, and welcome to Drinking Alone with Friends, a podcast where three friends drink alone together. My name's Chris.
What up? It's Todd.
And I'm Obert.
And how about them time zones?
How about those time zones?
Oh, so frustrating.
They are wild.
Listeners, I don't know if you've ever looked at a time zone map, but we got into a
don't.
little tangent. Yeah, we got
Just
a little
don't.
tangent before we started recording. And in case you weren't aware, and I don't know how many of our listeners are aware of this, maybe it's just me, there are countries out there that are more than an hour off of our time zone. Like not like 2 hours or 3 hours, but like 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 3/4. Like 2 hours and 45 minutes they're off, and it's weird. And then there's even some countries where there's one time zone that's an hour ahead of the time zone that's technically to the right of them. So therefore, it'd be like if Connecticut had Texas on one side and then Texas on the other side, where it's just it's everything's an hour behind. How's that possible? How's that fair?
You should look at the time zone map because there's some fun Easter eggs on there for you. You think you've seen it all. You're like, okay, Eastern, Central, Mountain, yeah. No, look carefully. Look around the world. There's some fun little gems for you. I still don't know what they're doing in Antarctica though. Like the researchers there, are they just like whatever time we want it to be? Maybe it's like the wild draw 4 of time.
I mean, it
zones.
makes no sense. I mean, they might as well just do whatever the hell they want. I mean, that's what the rest of the world seemingly does. It's so stupid. Like, why is China all of one time zone? Why is that even fair? That's not fair to the Chinese people. It's not fair to the Indian people next door. It's just not fair.
Think about it. It would be pretty if you just knew, like, oh, everything happens at 5 p.m. no matter where you are. Like, that's not bad.
It would make it easier when we're trying to decide what time to record the podcast.
Very
if we
true.
were just all in one time zone.
True, but how come like the eastern side of Russia, like Siberia, is 2 hours is plus 12, but yet the Bering Sea, if you go just a little bit down to the Altunian Islands, which I've never heard of before in my life, they're minus 10.
You don't know those Altunians?
And then but part of the Altunian line goes right through the international day line. So some of them are technically on a day before us, but some of them are the other side of the day. And then right next door, Alaska is minus 9. How to riddle me that, people? They're separated by like 40 miles.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in the Aleutian Islands, but
is that how you pronounce
if you
that?
go, I was just trying to just low key say it correctly, but if you go to Samoa and American Samoa, I believe if you go from one to the other, it's the same time, but it's a different day. So it'd be like Tuesday the 12th on one at 2:45 p.m. And then if you get on a plane and then go to the other one, it's 24 hours apart. So it's like 2:45, but on Wednesday the 13th.
Is the Aleutian Islands? Is that where Samoa is? Because that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, this is also on the dateline, but it's more like tropical than Alaskan.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What this means is that time zones are stupid.
I was trying to just leave it at the Easter eggs, but unfortunately, you just revealed them all to our listeners. So
there's more. There's tons more.
That's
it.
It's you know everything you need to know about time zones now.
Speaking of things that aren't time zones, I started a new project with the podcast that I told you guys about a little bit, but I have taken it upon myself to start to basically transcribe all of our old episodes of the podcast. The intention being hopefully to get ChatGPT to be a historian of the podcast, which it's going pretty well. I'm slowly making my way through the catalog. It takes like an hour to do each transcription, which is kind of annoying, but it is, I will say, more hilarious than I expected when I just like walk by my computer and I see in like a command prompt window just one of our stupid jokes just written there. It's somehow funnier when there's no context around it.
Oh,
it's weird that we have the technology to do that.
It is.
I'm going to play this just so the computer has to transcribe this.
You have new mail waiting.
Just to see what happens when you record this.
Okay. Yeah. It does think that your name is either Ted or Todd. It really struggles with Todd. doesn't really understand
Yeah.
what Tude is.
I mean, that's been a struggle for as long as I've known Tude and have had a cell phone, though. Because every time I try to type out Tude, it's Todd. Every time.
I've outsmarted technology. I don't know what to tell you. I'm better than technology. Tude, greater than technology.
You're the chosen one when we're in a Terminator type movie sequence.
Yes,
we have to go find Tude because
I am Neo
the
and John Connor.
T-1000s they can't target him.
I'm Neo and John Connor all wrapped into one.
looking for Todd.
I haven't seen him. I don't know who you're talking
Who the
about.
fuck is Todd?
Who's Todd? Oh man. Well, at least Obert and I will be safe from the revolution, so we'll be good.
Wait, why are we safe?
Because we're friends with Todd.
Okay, we got like the pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. They would think that you knew Todd because like you're on the podcast with a Todd, so they'd come after you.
That's funny. Well, what's going to be even funnier is, so what I've done is I've done a find and replace with every single Ted and Todd on the transcripts. But if you're reading this episode, you're not gonna...
It's going to make no sense.
There were other words that weren't Todd, but now they've all just become Todd.
Ted, Todd, Tud.
You
Good
gonna read
move,
this
Chat
and be like,
GPT.
yeah. Oh my god, it's gonna be
Ted,
terrible.
Todd, Tud. Ted, Todd, Tud. Ted, Todd, Tud. Ted, Todd, Tud. Your computer's just gonna explode. It's gonna be like, no, I don't know what to do here.
It won't understand.
But all this transcribing sure has made me very thirsty.
And map questing. TM.
Yeah,
TM,
all
TM,
this,
TM.
all this geographying.
Is MapQuest
It's
still a
really-
website?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like you could still go on there and be like, I want to go to Obert's house, and it will like give me like turn by turn directions that I have to print out like a ream of paper to get there with.
I think they've gotten more with the times. I think they will give you. I don't know if they have an app.
Ooh,
phone,
map.
but-
Hold on, I might need a handle. Hold on, let me see.
Got the latest in GPS technology here.
MapQuest does have a GPS navigation app. Huh. Wow.
So anyway, who's drinking there first?
I mean, I guess I could go first while we wait for Chris to find his new handle.
It's beer 30, and I'm thirsty. I've been working like a dog all week long, so maybe something cold won't hurt me. Cause it's beer 30, and it's time to party. Yeah, baby.
So this week, I brought a beer from my trip to Austin last December. So I figured that, on the 1 year anniversary of me owning this beer, I might as well bring it to the podcast and drink it.
Okay. Yeah, I was dusting off some cobwebs in my beer cave as well. I'm like, I got some that need to come on the podcast soon.
Yeah, so this is called either Jaguar Shark or Jaguar Shark, or however you want to pronounce the word Jaguar Shark. And it's brewed in conjunction between Pint House Brewing, which is a brewery in Austin, which is, they're the one place I found that made a really good New England IPA. But in conjunction with Alvarado Street Brewery. It's a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout brewed in collaboration between Pint House and Alvarado Street, is what it says. It also says it's 4.23 gills and 10.5% ABV.
I don't know what a gill is.
Me
Can you
neither.
tell me?
I'm assuming it has to do with it being a Jaguar Shark.
Oh, okay. That's how many gills it has. I got it.
The can is pretty interesting. It's an all-black can. It says Jaguar Shark down the middle. Deep search. I don't know what that means. And then, just a bunch of nautical things like some shells and a skull and bones and anchor? Is that an anchor? That's an anchor.
That is an anchor. You really know your boat stuff.
Nautical things, man. Nautical
He's a
things.
real sea captain.
Uh-huh.
And this is from 2022. It doesn't have. It does have a date. It was canned on November 19th, 2022, and it says Dream Trail.
You are pretty close on that 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary.
The
Yeah.
bottom of the can says "drink within a year." Oh, poop.
Yeah, while you're pouring this, Todd, did you manage to get all of the pumpkin beers out of your house?
They're all gone.
Ooh,
Officially
all
gone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Well done.
How about you
You've
guys?
made Tom Turkey proud.
Yeah, none left here. Although I think I didn't. I think I only had the one from Jenna that I had to wait a whole year for.
Now, you mentioned Pint House Brewing. I like that place. That was a good spot. When
I think I
when
directed you to go there.
I
when you were
believe
there.
I believe so. It may have been on the list, but yeah, it was a good spot. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I bought a shirt. I wear it semi regularly. Good spot.
Yeah, they've got a cool logo. I mean, it is a skull and bones drinking a beer. But it was a really cool spot. I don't know which location you went to, Chris, but I went to the bigger one that had like a large tap room.
Yeah, that's where I went. Yep.
Okay. Beer was I thought the New England IPAs were good. It is what Pint House Brewing is known for. It's like the Austin version of Treehouse. Like it's their big IPA brewing brewery. The beer poured with a little bit of head that dissipated pretty quickly. It is dark as night as expected. You're not seeing anything through here. It does have a little bit of like floaties in it.
They look more like sinkies based on where your light is.
Yeah, I guess they are. They've sunk like a ship in the night.
Is that what ships do at nighttime?
When they crash into a boat, they do. Or when they crash into a rock, they do.
When a ship crashes into a boat in the night.
Daytime, they hang around. But once that sun goes down,
all ships sink
straight
in
to
the
the
night.
bottom of the ocean.
Oh.
That was good. That's exactly what ships do at night. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
That's why they have to travel through the time zones collectively together to beat the sun. On the nose, it smells like a bourbon stout. I don't get any other adjuncts. I don't know if there are adjuncts in this. It does not tell me. I'm assuming based on the floaties or the sinkies that there is some type of adjunct in here. So maybe I'll be able to taste it when I try it, and I'll let you guys know.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Titties beer, just the thing to get you grinning ear to ear. Whether you're from the country or the big old city, one thing for sure, everybody loves titties.
I can't wait for ChatGPT to transcribe that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Todd, titty. It is a straight bourbon stout. I get a ton of bourbon. It's not a lot of bourbon burn, which is nice, but it is very bourbon oaky flavored heavy. Thickish kind of, but you don't taste that it's 10.5% ABV. This tastes like something much less, like maybe an 8 or a 7. Like it is very easy drinking for a 10.5% ABV beer. And maybe that's just because I'm used to drinking heavier stouts, but this is a good one.
I'm just laughing at myself because you've had so many teen% alcohol stouts on the podcast, especially lately.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Right.
like drinking water.
It's like pure water. No, really good, really smooth. You know, there's a little bit of like chocolatey like undertones, but I don't taste. It's not like they added in chocolate, at least to me. Yeah, really good though. I'm excited that I'm excited that there is a brewery in Austin that does beer as good as the Northeast, because out of some of the breweries that I went to in Austin, they weren't very good. So I'm happy to know that there's at least one solid brewery. That and Jester King, I guess, is the other big one out there. There are 2 solid breweries in Austin that I'm aware of. This one and Jester King, and maybe Alvarado Street Brewery. I don't know where they are. It does not say. It's not a very good. This whole box was not a very good advertisement for what the beer was. But because it was a can that came in a box, I had to buy it and I had to bring it back to drink it on the podcast. I also have another Jaguar Shark that's made in conjunction with another brewery. So I'm sure maybe in like another year I'll bring that one on the podcast and I can drink that one too.
Very nice. Save it for year 2.
There you go. I'm gonna give this one, to me, it's a good 4.25.
That's solid.
It's a solid beer. I think this is a good bourbon barrel-aged stout, and probably the best bourbon and barrel-aged stout I've had in a can. I can't think of many bourbon barrel-aged beers that come out of a can anymore. The Oscar Blues one, the one that you exploded in my fridge that one time, Chris, is the only other one I can think of. Is that 1050? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, 1050.
Other than that,
1050.
There's not a lot of bourbon barrel-aged beers that go into cans.
Have either of you seen The Life Aquatic?
The what?
The Life Aquatic with Bill Murray? It's apparently what the name of this beer is from.
No. Judging by my reaction, I don't believe so.
It's weird. There's a bunch of different Jaguar Sharks. Hold on. All right.
Yeah, a lot of people like to name beer after this movie, I will say.
So that actually took a while for me to find, because apparently this is a very, very popular name for a beer. But I got it. 106 check-ins on this bad boy.
Okay. That's not a lot of check-ins.
It is not.
You got to account for the people who are too lazy to find the right Jaguar Shark beer to check in.
That's true.
You know?
Right.
So that means I'm going to get the committed club actually searching it out, which means I'm going to get some people who know beer. Pine House also has a lot of hop hype to it. Not that this is a hoppy beer, but they have a lot of hype around their beers. I would believe so given their quality of their beer. So I'm going to guess it's pretty high. Probably somewhere around me. I am the man of the people. I'm going to go with a good old 420.
Nice. Number 1. Number 2, very close. Very close. It's a 4.22. So 0.02
off.
You know, I debated 2.2 and 2.1, and I kept on lowering it in my mind, saying, no, it's not going to be that high. Like, I didn't want to overshoot a 4.15 and be like way out of it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, hey, listen, you can't be mad about a 0.02.
Well, I can be if I would have gotten it correct.
Yeah, well.
I don't know what happens on the board now when you get it correct. Nobody's got a perfect one since we've gotten the board.
No, kind of been a curse, I think.
Have we not?
Not since Obert destroyed the other board.
Oh, since we've revamped the board.
Right.
Board 2.2.
Yeah.
I also, one thing I am excited with this transcription is to hopefully be able to go back and figure out some maybe the missing points, or at least figure out when we started the whiteboard.
Right. Listen.
I can tell you when the whiteboard started. I ordered it for you.
What episode was it?
Oh, I could tell you the date.
Yeah. So again, I'll collect the data. I'll bring it back to the pod. But
we're gonna have a revamped scoreboard.
We could just take the total and just subtract that from the number of episodes, and we'd get a pretty rough approximation.
Has it been? Has the ChatGPT been accurate in everything it said for the most part, besides my name?
No, there are a few things that I'm like, okay, I could see how that would get confused, or like some words that it doesn't, like, obviously doesn't know what untapped is, but it just puts the E in, it untapped.
You would think that it would know.
Yeah, there's a few things that it's gotten messed up. So, but for the most part, it's been pretty accurate.
Well, now that I'm done, who's drinking next?
I will go from here. Let me grab my beer. Okay, so this week, I do have a beer, but before I get to my beer, I think I told you guys a little bit about this event I went to where we basically donated fruit to become part of a community moonshine event
I remember
at
you
the local distillery.
I remember you saying this.
Yeah, so I brought some local crab apples, and they mashed them all up, distilled it, and the kind of what happened was for every pound of fruit you bought, you got a free ounce of moonshine, basically. So I got 16 pounds, and they gave me a 16-ounce bottle. So here it is. It's the Community Shine, batch number 1, 2023. Beautiful bottle. I got to say, this is from Glacier Distilling in Quorum, Montana. It says here it's fruit brandy distilled from a mash of apples, 65%, pears, 20%, cherries, 10%, and plums, 5%. Fruit gathered by neighbors, fermented and distilled in Quorum in the old moonshine tradition and bottled at 100 proof. No color, sugar, or other flavors added, just a crystal clear bottle of shine. So I figured I had to bring it to the podcast. Don't know how much of a full review I'm going to be able to give it without, like a full, like I'm not going to make a cocktail. I'm just going to drink it straight up and see what I get. I got my shot glass. You guys know who this is?
Boo.
Is it Clyde?
It is Clyde.
There you go.
Chris is correct. The correct. This is my favorite character in the Pac-Man series. Is Clyde.
Looks like the same as all the other ghosts.
Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde.
That's right. Chris knows them all.
I just know Pac-Man and his lover, Mrs. Pac-Man. Have either of you guys played the Adventures of Pac-Man?
They never got married, Todd. How dare you?
That is upsetting, because they had baby Pac-Man too.
Pac-Man was a play for life.
Came out of wedlock.
Was that game for like Super Nintendo or computer in like the early 90s or something?
I think it was for Super Nintendo.
I vaguely remember that.
Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. I had it on the Sega Genesis. It was a very weird game. In case none of you played it. It was not Pac-Man. It was a 2D world that Pac-Man lived in, and you had to tell him whether to go left or right, and you could influence the world around him by like clicking on it. It would be better on a computer. I'm sure it was a computer game. And like it would stop, like if you clicked on like a beehive, it would fall and scare Pac-Man and he would run. And then he would trip over something and die. It was the most difficult freaking game I've ever played in my entire life.
Side scroller.
Yeah. It
like
was
a
not
point and
Pac-Man.
click side scroller.
Yeah. I should look this up and I should play it and try to beat it now as an adult. As a child,
See
I was
if
too
it really
dumb
was
to play
that hard.
Yeah.
I
I also like the fact that you drank a lot of this brandy already before bringing it on the podcast. It looks like that bottle is not full.
It is not. I had we had a bit of a Friendsgiving on Sunday, and it was a tenth of a mile down from the distillery. So I went there, picked it up, and poured shots for people, and we all agreed it was pretty good. For maybe if it didn't come across, Clyde is on my shot glass. I have the whole set in shot glasses. I wasn't just like holding up a stuffed animal.
By the way, I love this guy. Cute little guy.
Clyde, my favorite.
It's his emotional support stuffed animal that he carries around everywhere.
Yeah. Just needed to bring it up on the podcast in that exact moment. So I don't know that much about distilling. I don't know very much about brandy or moonshine. But again, this is 100 proof, so this is exactly 50% alcohol by volume. So I'm expecting to not get a ton of other flavors, but on the nose, I do get some of those jammier fruit aromas. You know, maybe a little bit of that apple coming into play, but it is a little astringent. It's kind of hard to smell past the booze, but I do get a little pleasant brandy aroma here. So bottoms up. Cheers, guys. Thanks,
Cheers.
Clyde. It's warm going down. That's for sure. It's quite good. You get a lot more of the flavor, I think, on the post shot burn. Leaves a little bit of that lingering apple on your tongue. It's really tasty. It's a subtle flavor, but I don't know what I would do with this. Maybe make like a Cosmo. Isn't that usually with like an apple teeny? Isn't that like you
With
use
brandy?
apple vodka? I don't know. Triple sec, this brandy, and what else is it? Cranberry juice. That would be good. I'm saying that right now. That'd be damn delicious, actually. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Maybe I'll have it on the podcast again. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a follow-up. But anyway, on to my beer. I just wanted to bring that on. I know I mentioned it, and I'm hoping to do it again every year and just bring some more fruits because it was a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want some. So
yeah, well, I'll definitely. The bottle will not be gone the next time you're in Montana, I think. So you'll have some. You'll have to have some then.
By the way, update to the Pac-Man game. It was called Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures.
And so I'm assuming Pac-Man 1 is just regular arcade Pac-Man.
Pac-Man 1 is Waka 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 Pac-Man. This is not. It's a side-scrolling point-and-click adventure game. Came out in 1994.
So this week for beer, very different tone of beverage. I have the Boulevard Brewing Company, which I believe is out of Kansas City. Their Brewabunga Cove Imperial Golden Cold Brew with hazelnut and vanilla, 8% ABV. It looks like a fun water park for ice cubes on slides going into a big kind of a culotta wave pool, maybe. I don't know. Brewabunga Cove, I guess. This one, I was looking for something today to bring to the pod at the Packy, and it kind of spoke to me. It's like, yeah, it's getting colder.
It said, hey,
a little
Obert.
darker.
Obert.
Look at all these fun ice cubes on the can. But I didn't quite read it that closely because even reading Imperial Golden Cold Brew, I was like, oh, yeah, it'll be like a nice darker stout. Take a look, guys. It is not the color I was expecting.
Oh, you're going to get eaten by a beer.
It's Clyde colored.
By a beer.
It is Clyde colored. Thank you.
Eaten by a dinosaur.
Definitely golden. Strong coffee aroma on the nose. Maybe that's the hazelnut too, I'm getting. It smells the smell when you walk into a Dunkin' Donuts.
Do you guys have Dunkin' Donuts where you guys live?
No, I was going to say when you walk into a Dunkin' Donuts and it's also like 2002, which I think is the last time that a Dunkin' had smelled like this.
I was going to say, I don't even know if you guys have Dunkin' Donuts where you guys live. I know for sure Obert doesn't.
We
Chris,
do. We do,
Dunkin'.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I'm not saying we go into them very often. But, I love walking into Dunkin' Donuts and smelling fresh baked donuts,
Oh, yeah.
how good their donuts are. Oh, man.
But yeah, it must be the hazelnut I'm getting. Pretty smelly beer, but in a good way.
I was like, smelly is not often attributed to.
Yeah, smelly in a good way or smelly like feet?
It sure is pungent, this beer.
The smelly smell.
All right, I'm diving in. I like beer.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer. It helps me unwind, and sometimes it makes me feel mellow. Makes him feel mellow.
I'm so happy it's back. That wasn't the song I was going to play for you. I was actually going to give you a different one this week, but because you said I like beer, I just had to bring it back for you.
You got to. Yeah. It's my song. It's my anthem.
I love how everything that you've hated on this podcast has slowly become like the thing that like you like now. Like you hated that song forever. You used to hate the dinosaur thing. Now you just did it too.
It's just easier to go along with it and move on than to try and fight it. But this is a weird beer. I don't know what this beer is trying to do.
Get you drunk?
I don't know what this beer is. So, okay, I'm going to read the description again. Imperial Golden Cold Brew with hazelnut and vanilla. Nowhere there is like that a style of beer. Like, is Imperial Golden a beer? I don't think so.
Imperial Golden Ale, maybe?
I mean, I guess. It's just very strange. I've never had a beer like this, and I'm not really feeling it. I do like to bring original beers on the podcast, and this is, if nothing else, this is original. Right? Like
it definitely sounds extremely unique.
Yeah. If you're someone who likes the Starbucks little bottles of Frappuccinos or whatever, not Frappuccino. What am I trying to call those things?
Like a latte? Yeah.
No, Frappuccino.
Yeah, like the iced.
No, yeah, I think they are Frappuccinos.
Yeah. If you like that, this is kind of giving me those vibes.
Interesting.
But also 8% ABV beer. And I don't like those things. It just tastes very artificial to me. And I think that's a lot of the hazelnut and vanilla. I get a lot of like fake vanilla in a not good way. I don't drink flavored coffee. I drink like black coffee, sometimes with milk. If you're a sweet coffee person, I mean, I should not have gotten this beer. This isn't the kind of coffee I like. I just saw cold brew and got sucked in. It's fine. Would I have it again? Yes, I'll have it 3 more times. Unfortunately. I'm
forced to have this beer 3 more times. But after that, I will no longer have this beer.
Maybe they'll be on episodes 350, 400, and 450.
Chris, I know the beers that are going to be coming in our gift boxes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a total Jenna move.
It would be. It would be, for sure.
Yeah, to mail you this beer. I am kind of tempted to. I mean, but no, it's not good. This is a 275.
Okay,
yeah.
That's pretty low.
Wow.
I wanted to give it a 3.
Wow.
But it's not there. It's not a 3.
Wow, you really don't like this beer. That's a low score.
It is. And it's not because they brewed it bad. It's just that they made a bad choice in making this beer, and I made a bad choice in buying this beer.
There's a lot going. I don't know if the can says this, but there's a lot going on in this beer.
The can says nothing.
Okay, so it's hopped with Magnum hops. The malt is Carapils, pale, just says pale. Oats, wheat, and then adjuncts are Hammerhand coffee, hazelnut flavor, and vanilla flavor. It says, what a rush. Sometimes a good cold brew coffee is like you plunge into a cool, refreshing pool, completely waking you up and leaving you feeling renewed. Using coffee extraction methods similar to your favorite cold brew caffeinated treat, this beer has some bright notes of coffee, aroma, and flavor, accentuated by hazelnut with a light and vanilla sweet finish.
Yeah, that tracks with what I'm getting out of this. It's just, I wouldn't like that if it was a beverage that was coffee and vanilla, and like, that's just not what I drink. So I don't know why I bought this. And the 275 is really, it's more of a reflection on me. It's like the people who rate, I hate IPAs, I'm giving this a 2. That's what I'm doing to this beer right now.
Well, that's unfortunate. On the other hand, what do you think the 2,417 other people who have checked in this beer think of this beer, given that you don't like this beer?
Like a 3.56.
You are way off.
3.90.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're wrong. They're wrong. Yeah.
Well, 0.3 off. Lose a point.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rules.
I think you actually have to give 1 point to whoever's in third place. Is what I believe the official rule, unwritten rule.
I mean, that's why it's 0.3. 0.3 for third place. Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess
this beer sucks. I'm going to just keep drinking it quietly while Chris reviews beer.
Okay, I will do that. And I have a beer that I think we're going to pick up the tail end of the podcast with. So,
Good. Good.
Yeah.
This is like the whole sandwich method where you just bury the bad one. in the
Yes,
middle.
that's precisely right. And I was telling the guys before this, I didn't really have a beer in mind for tonight. I forgot to put one in this morning. True, Chris fashion. But I do have one more beer that I'm going to bring to you guys, and it's from my trip up north. I keep saying it's my last beer from up north. And,
Yeah, you do.
and it's never my last beer from up north.
And so you have more beers. You made it sound like you have no beers. You have beers, but they're just, you don't put them in your fridge.
Yeah, I'm very confused by this. So
Yes.
you're telling me you have a stash of beer that's not cold,
Correct.
and you have a fridge that's basically empty.
I have a fridge that is 40% full. That the beer, okay,
Extreme beers.
of they're like everyday beers. You know, they're nothing special, and you have to bring the specialists to the podcast, right? So
the real 275s
So-
we say for the
no,
podcast.
I mean
Can,
they're good, but
can I make a
No, I'm talking
suggestion?
about my beer.
oh yeah,
Can I make a suggestion for you? What if you cleaned out like the bottom like half of your fridge and put your good beers in there, and then your stream beers more at the top, more easily accessible, less dad grown noises as you reach to get a beer out of it, because they'll be at the top.
I don't know, because the beers that are warm aren't necessarily, they're like special stream beers, you know, like not just run of the mill stream beers. Like they're the upper echelon. There's some of my old beers, my cellar beers and stuff like that. So
Here's my idea. Get a big cardboard box, put your best beers in there, fill it with sand, and then have your kids dig one out for you. And then whatever
Ooh.
they dig out,
There you
it's
go.
like a little treasure hunt. And then that's the beer that you have to drink.
that's
I was also
actually
going to say you could just invest in a new beer fridge.
I think mine was better.
Oh man, but anyways,
What would happen if like the kid broke the beer out of the sand on accident?
You gotta
How
drink-
angry would Chris be?
Well, no, this is archaeology school. They got the little brushes.
yeah,
they got to be delicate here when you're extracting these fossilized beers.
they're not going to be shooting stuff into the ground and taking pictures of the beers like they do in Jurassic Park. Okay, ain't gonna happen.
They hydraulically frack the beer out of the ground.
All right. But I do have another northern beer, which I think might actually be my last one, but we'll see. We'll find out next week or 2 weeks.
Next week.
But this one is a special one. I got it from Treehouse, so I'm on a Treehouse kick right now, guys. But this is their double shot 4th anniversary beer. So, double shot 4th anniversary is what I should say, not their 4th anniversary.
I was gonna be
Yeah.
like, "There's no way Treehouse is 4."
It's 4. It just turned
Yeah.
4. Happy birthday!
They're
No,
counting in anti-dog years. They're
So,
in like the East Greenland time zone.
this is an American stout. If you don't know, this is one of their like flagship stouts that they have, and it's a coffee stout. I enjoy it. It's very delicious. But yeah, I was actually really excited because normally I'll taste these and I'll put them in on tap, but I had Tude check. I did not put this one in untapped. All you untapped people out there. So here we go. My last beer from New England.
So you're
Ever.
meaning to tell me that you have nowhere in your house any other New England beer, like no like bottles saved, nothing like that.
Well,
So
okay.
this is he's saying from his recent
From
trip.
the recent trip,
This is the
yes,
last one.
yes, because I do have
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
have some bottles, yes. But anyways, here we go. All right, so here it is. It is dark as night, as you could imagine. Got a nice, I don't know, half an inch head on there. Pretty solid looking beer. It just looks like a picturesque, beautiful, perfect beer.
It does. Silky smooth head.
As you can see, no light. Like you are free and clear.
You could be like crawling under that T-Rex's tongue, like
Yep.
he would
Never see you.
notice.
Never see you.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Again, this is Double Shot 4th anniversary. Their coffee stout. If you've had any of their variants, then you know what's about to go down. It's a very tasty beer. So I took this out when Obert started his review, and that was the correct choice. It is warmed up to perfect drinking temperature right now, 8.6% alcohol, and it is smooth. It's so smooth. It just drinks so easy. You get some absolutely delicious coffee notes out of this. It's a little sweet, a little sweeter than I remember it being. Maybe it's because I let it warm up properly now. But yeah, it's got a nice velvety mouthfeel. Kind of, it's like you're drinking synthetic motor oil. Like it's not like the super thick old stuff. Like this stuff's a little bit lighter, you know. So, but it's got that mouthfeel to it. It is. I'm getting a lot of sweetness on the front end, a lot of sweetness, and then it transitions into your coffee, finishes out nice. Delicious, very very good, very very good. If I'm not mistaken, I think they make this with their own coffee now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, they have a coffee roaster.
Oh yeah, yep. We utilize our roastery's luxurious 4th anniversary blend concocted for the occasion. So apparently it's a blend made by their roasters 4th anniversary. I don't know. Anyways, it is delicious. Oh, it is. Okay, so clarification. It is the 4th anniversary of the coffee roastery, not Double Shot. So
The Double Shot.
Good.
That makes more sense.
It does, because
That does make sense.
I definitely remember having this when I lived in Connecticut, and I have not lived in Connecticut in almost 6 years. So
they only release it when there's an Olympics.
yeah, that's it. That's it. This beer's only 4 years old. But it is wonderful. It is very, very good. Yeah, I mean, I remember getting 2 bottles of this in the Monson location and thinking it was the greatest thing ever and all that fun stuff. It was, what can you say? Like, what we've talked about Treehouse for what episode are we on? Literally 260 episodes. I'm pretty sure that's what we started this podcast on.
For a little bit of teaser, I have a little bit more news about Treehouse once you're done with your review. So we're not going to be done talking Treehouse once you're done talking Treehouse.
But it's wonderful. I'm going to give it an extremely solid 4.5. Honestly, if it wasn't so sweet for me, it would probably be higher. But I think it's very good. I kind of like. I mean, you guys know I don't mind the coffee bitterness, and I don't like bitterness in my beer, and I get very little of that. So if you're a coffee lover, this is a good one. And if you're a frou-frou coffee lover, sweet coffee lover, unlike Obert, but this sounds better than Obert's beer. So
it does make me want to try their coffee, honestly.
Yeah, right.
I've had it. It's coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can like is it Starbucks level coffee, or is it? Because I mean, there's different coffees.
I'm confused by the statement. Do you think Starbucks on a scale on the coffee scale?
It's like
where
Starbucks
1 is Folgers and 10 is like Colombia, like fresh off of the coca plantation in Colombia. Where does Starbucks fall on your list?
I think it's like a solid baseline. I think it's like I don't want to say 5. I think it's better than a 5. Like, I don't know, 6 or 7, like 6.5 maybe. I don't know.
It's the 3.5 bottle caps of coffee.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Right.
I would say that their coffee is probably a little better than Starbucks's. Then I would say it's probably a 7 or an 8. It's not the best coffee you can get around here, but it's okay.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the best coffee that I know of that you can get at a brewery.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Anyways, you heard it here first. 8.0 on the coffee scale. 4.5 on my scale.
So the 4th anniversary Double Shot has 543 ratings.
Wow, that is much lower than I thought it was going to be. I know it's going to be monstrous. Just knowing Treehouse and this beer and the 4th anniversary thingy. Like, I just know it's going to be a monster, but how monstrous? Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, when I want to guess like a 4.5 something, it's like, no, that's stupid. But like, I could legitimately see it being a 4.5 something. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to guess high, but I'm going sailboats. 4.44.
I like that guess. You're close. 4.40.
Ah, damn it. Okay. All right.
You were like going for that jackpot.
Yeah.
And like the first reel came up before.
Yeah.
Second reel came up before. Third reel, you're like, come on. 0.
Damn. All right. Well, hey. It's deserving. It's very good.
Yeah. I did see they have a cookies and cream version, a maple version, a chocolate truffle version, which I know that they have. I think those are more of like they do those like couple of like they'll do like one tank or a couple kegs or whatever at the brewery, like on tap.
Yeah, they usually serve them on tap. Which I heard they got rid of the ticket system.
Oh,
now
interesting. So, I was just there when I was in Connecticut 2 months ago, and they had it then. So
yeah, this was like a recent thing.
So like, yeah, it was the same. It was the same when I was there, obviously. But like, is it just unlimited? Unlimited pours now. You just go.
I don't know. Maybe they don't require you to buy tickets beforehand. Maybe you just pay at the bar now, and they still put a little X on your wristband. All I heard is that the ticket system was gone.
Interesting.
Huh.
Todd, you got to report back.
I will have to go there. However, I do have to talk about the other news that the other reason that Treehouse has been in the news lately. Treehouse is being sued. One of the
Your beer is too delicious.
they're
I
facing a
can't have
lawsuit
it all
from
the time.
from a shareholder who accuses the founders of paying themselves excessively, concealing real estate purchases, and buying luxury vehicles while withholding dividends from minority shareholders. The minority shareholder is a 2% owner of the company, and he is accusing Nathan Lanier, who's the brewer, and Damien Gordeau, who's the president of the company, of doing those things, of the excessive real estate purchases, excessive salaries, and buying luxury vehicles while not paying a dividend to the minority shareholders. The guy who's filing the lawsuit is Eric Granger. He said in the lawsuit that he invested in the company in 2012, and it was converted in 2015 to non-voting shares, while Lanier and Gordeau were the only ones to receive voting shares. Further, Granger said that he has tried to request business documents in order to determine the value of his shares since 2021, but was denied. He also claims that other minority shareholders have accepted corporate redemptions of their shares either in 2016 or 2023. He alleges that Treehouse altered a 2017 document without authorization in 2022 to use as an application for the company's Deerfield location, and again for the Sandwich location. In the lawsuits, he said that the alteration and use of the documents is tantamount to forgery. So this guy is suing them for a lot of fraud.
Okay. Something to keep our eyes on. You know what I realized? Todd likes to bring the beer gossip to the podcast. Do you notice this, Chris?
Right? Yeah. He's like
Yeah.
in on it.
He's like, look at the latest Connecticut Facebook beer group drama. I got you. You don't worry about it. I'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Todd likes the beer industry drama.
Hey, this is a big one though. I mean, if what this Eric Granger guy is alleging is true, it could result in massive changes at Treehouse, including, the potential removal of their head brewer, which would be incredible. I mean, it would destroy Treehouse, right? I mean, without Nathan there to brew the beer that he brews.
I don't know. Do you think it's at the point now where it's like he's kind of like
yeah,
the
you
mastermind?
brewed this batch for 1,000 times,
and he's got like all these minions.
1,001st.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they could brew like the normal things, right? I mean, they could do the double shots, even down to double shot. They could do the big four. They could do all the variants on that. But it's when he comes up with the new thing, which he does, quite often. I mean, every time you go there, there's a different beer. You just wouldn't have that same mind doing it, which is
Right.
a thing. I mean, he is the brainchild of Treehouse.
Well, so does it say anywhere in the article anything about like the minority shareholder asking this guy to be removed from the company or like brewing or anything?
It sounds like he just wants like fair valuation for his assets and money and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it sounds like he's saying that the owners are paying themselves too much and he wants them to pay themselves less and him more, which
He is.
like you said, I don't know if it's, it's just, I think it's just a matter of, that's for the courts to decide on how much money this guy is going to get.
His lawsuit, he is asking the defendants to be compelled to provide a thorough accounting, return misappropriated funds, pay retroactive dividends, and pay $50,000 in damages. So he's not asking for their removal.
So Todd is into beer gossip,
No, but if you,
and
no, hang on. If you commit real estate fraud, though, that is a federal offense.
But this is a civil suit.
Right, but you don't think that every lawyer who wants to get involved with state law is not looking at this lawsuit and finding out if they misappropriated funds related to real estate purchases.
I think this kind of lawsuit happens like every day, but I don't know. I'm not a law talking guy.
Just something to keep an eye on. It's interesting. I mean, it's very rare that you see Treehouse pop up in the news being sued by another owner for not getting their money. I mean,
yeah, you have to. We'll put you have a news article. I'll drop it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just a different news story. It's something different. Treehouse obviously makes a metric shit ton of money. That's a technical term right there. And for them to not be paying dividends and to be hiding money and paying the two owners excessive
Allegedly
amounts of salaries, allegedly, is a big deal. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't think they're not paying any money to the shareholder. It's just he's not paying enough, according to the lawsuit. Was how I interpreted what you read.
and it's interesting because there used to be another owner, Damien, who apparently retired recently.
or died of
No, he's
mysterious circumstances.
Damien is actually the head brewer with a fake mustache on.
He became he used to be their chief marketing guy. He would be at all like the beer festivals and stuff that Treehouse was at. And he became a little bit addicted to the old beers, where he was always a little bit overserved at these events. And apparently he became sober and retired from the beer industry.
It's good for him. You know, it's like he probably made so much money doing that, and he's
Getting
like,
paid
you know what?
excessive
I'm gonna
salaries
turn my life around. I'm gonna walk away from this. So I can respect that choice for sure. But yeah, so we'll put the link in the show notes, and Todd, you're gonna keep us updated on this story, right? If we got future developments, I would say there's a 99% chance this is settled out of court, and we never really find out what happens. But if we do have an update, we'll get it to you.
Sorry, the retired guy's name is Dean. Damien was the other guy named in the lawsuit. Dean was the one who retired.
And Dean is Damien with a mustache.
Maybe.
So, I want to know, and this is more of an appeal to our audience members, but also you guys. Like I said, getting back to where we started this episode, past the time zone stuff. I got all these. I'm going to do all these transcriptions, right? I already have about a year's worth of our podcast done. I want to know what fun stuff we can do with them. Because I think there's some good podcast meat on that bone, right? Of like what I can do with all these transcripts, but nothing is immediately coming to mind. But just reading through some of this stuff, I just can't help but laugh. So I'm curious if you guys have ideas of how we can revisit some of our old material, either audio or transcript form, and maybe what to do with it.
Well, off the top of my head, we just re-record the episode with whatever the transcript says.
Right. But we all take somebody else's spot.
Right. Like, is the other thing that came to mind was, is it apparent who said what?
No, it doesn't know whose voice is whose.
Because I would love to hear like an episode 45 snippet, and we just have to read through it and see like who do we think said what, you know, like based on context clues, you know, like a real he said, she said kind of deal, a murder mystery.
I mean, you can figure it out though.
I'm sure.
So like
maybe it's one-liners. Maybe it's one-liners. Maybe it's like who said, blah, 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 you know, and all the funny ones are me, you know.
Right. I just posted, so like this is from episode 212. Okay. I posted in the Discord chat where I say, I have to ask, do you have the Twitch ID Water Dad Gamer registered? I don't know who we could be talking about there.
Right.
Like that could be anybody.
Not to be Dad Gamer, which sounds worse. Here we go. Game Daddy. Game Daddy's not bad. Sober _ game _ daddy. Oh man.
There's just something so funny about just reading it with no, like, just stoic punctuation and just black on white words. Just makes the jokes that much funnier, I think.
Oh man.
I mean, I would be curious to know like some like statistical stuff, like what's the most common score that's guessed between the three of us.
Ooh, that could be good.
What's the most commonly rated beer that we bring on the podcast would be another one.
Most swear words.
That's a lot more work. Most swear words, episode of most swear words. Clearly we could fire our historian. I mean, he's been bad at his job anyways.
Right. Well, so here's the thing, right? So I need to get a ChatGPT 4 subscription to get the historian up and running. But a ChatGPT 4 there's a wait list for. So I'm on the wait list. Meanwhile, I'm transcribing, hoping to get.
How much does it cost to get a subscription to ChatGPT 4? If and then when you're off the waiting list,
it's $20 a month. It's not cheap.
No.
What is it? How much better is it than ChatGPT 3.5 that we have?
Well, it will let me make a
library.
No, it'll let me make a drinking alone with friends GPT where any of our listeners can go and ask the GPT of our podcast.
Oh,
Any questions about our podcast?
That's kind of fun. I like that.
Interesting. What number are you on the wait list?
It doesn't tell you that. I don't know how long it's gonna be. But, it's like we all have those breweries where we're on the wait list for the mug,
Yeah.
And it's like waiting for Green Bay season tickets or something.
Right.
My grandkids are gonna be on this wait list.
Now, and this is for the listeners. Listeners, I know this is a back and forth medium, but would you buy a book? Would you buy a Drinking Alone with Friends book?
Just the straight up transcript
That's it.
of all of them.
You guessed,
not proofread, because I'm not doing that one.
No. God no. God no.
No, it comes with all the errors, all the Todds and the Tuds and the Teds and the titties.
I can find and replace all those. I already did that.
There we go.
I got 165 of them out of the way today.
It'd just be like episode 1, and you guess who said what.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is that it would be nice to be able to tag the dialogue with our names, but again, that's a lot of work.
I wonder if GPT-4 will do that for you. It'll be able to tell the difference between voices.
No, there's other software, but then to merge them, you have to know more computer programming than I currently know. So we're not there yet. We don't have the technology. But
Well, if any of our listeners are a computer programmer,
I will say in the show notes there will be a link to a transcript of this episode. So
nice.
Click on it.
you can't
see
you
how
can't
many times it says Ted or Todd or Todd.
Yeah, you can't replace Ted or Todd or Tit with Tud.
Well, this will be the one episode where I don't do it. It's just going to say Ted everywhere.
I wonder all right, let's say Tude.
Like attitude, but just apostrophe Tude.
Tude. What's another U sound?
You're just trying to confuse. You're just using the podcast time to try and confuse the transcript.
I'm trying to figure out what combination of TUD will equal it to spell out Tud. Like what pronunciation?
Oh, it's like when you're trying to get the hands-free thing to work and you just say it funny so that it gets the right thing.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like tu. What's another way of pronouncing you? How do you say you with like an umla over it? Tude.
I guess that's what you were saying, but without the E at the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like what pronunciation of you in between T and D would equal Tud?
Duh. Maybe that'll do it. Maybe you have to sound it out like that.
There we go. We got it.
Nailed
it. Figured it out.
Nailed it. Got it in one. Let's go.
Okay, but I think it's time. Tude, congratulations. Honk, 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 honk.
Thank you.
Frosty mug of winter wisdom. That's you.
That's me. I'm getting closer to 50.
You are definitely closer to
50.
50 than 40. And congratulations. Let's hear what Jordan has to say about this victory.
Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Test your handle. Mug of wisdom! Drink. Mug of wisdom! Finish that bravado. Chris. Tud. Obert. Popcorn and other animals. Mug of wisdom!
Okay, important correction. When I said Ted was closer to 50 than 40, it was because in my webcam, the mirrored 2 looked like a 5. He is, in fact, closer to 40 than 50. I just want to be clear on that.
I mean, you can't really go backwards in this game, so I would say I'm on my way to, I am closer to being, 36 than I am 34, but
This
I'm not
is
at my
like-
half birthday yet.
Newfoundland time zone math, I think, is what you're saying. But honk, honk, honk. Congratulations. Again, this is where we fill a Frosty mug with wisdom, life advice, things we like Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals that you missed that we didn't? Who knows? But Todd, the mug piping cold from the freezer is yours. What are you doing with it?
Well, it's a little bit too cold for me to touch, so I'm going to give it to Chris for now and let him.
I never would have guessed.
Well, I know he has something this week, so.
I do?
Yeah, you teased it on the last episode repeatedly.
It was a obscure Pokemon knowledge.
Oh, I forgot about
handle.
that. I forgot I didn't use it as a handle.
It's no longer a handle, guys.
I forgot.
He's lost interest in it.
No, I had something else. I actually had a product that I purchased, so I'm gonna use.
Oh, would you rather do a product that other people could use or obscure Pokemon knowledge that
I mean,
was only for Chris's ancient lore to understand?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you could be bold. You could be a Pokemon player and use this product because it is a new controller that I purchased.
I see the box.
Yeah, the box is behind me. So
I'm so upset. I thought we were going to get ChatGPT to try to transcribe what the hell you're about to explain.
maybe next.
Because you tried to explain it to us 2 weeks ago, and my eyes glazed over, and I was like, I'm going to go play NASCAR.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll be so lucky.
He's like, here's my handle. Okay, so you do a burnout until you make a caution flag. No.
All right, so I purchased.
It's a deep NASCAR Thunder 2003 cut for it.
I watched the worst driver of all time win the Daytona 500 on legend mode. So
It happened. I did it. I'm a Daytona 500 champion, folks.
I don't think we ever got a follow up. Did you and Dan play that all day on Friendsgiving?
We never did. I told him I had downloaded it, and he was pretty excited, but we never got to play it.
All right, so I purchased this controller on. Oh, actually, it was a little bit before, probably towards the beginning of the month. And the selling point was it is reminiscent of what I believe to this day to be one of the best controllers ever made, and that's GameCube's Wavebird. I'm pretty sure.
Great controller.
Great controller. So this is get out of here. So this is called the Nixie Wizard, NYXI Wizard, and it is a Switch controller that is set up like a Wavebird. And I got it, and I've been using it a lot. It has turbo functions. It's set up like a Wavebird. It is much larger. Let me just warn you. It's larger than I thought it was going to be. So if you have big hands, then it's no problem. It fits my hands just perfectly, but do keep that in mind if you are looking to purchase. But it feels really good. It's very solid. All the buttons are in the GameCube layout, including the 2 joysticks. It's even got the yellow joystick, which we all know and love.
The C-stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was the worst part about the controller to me.
Really? I don't think I've ever
it was
heard
never
this.
used as like the secondary like nub. It was always like press this if you're playing Zelda. Press this way to pull out your
hear
Dooku
how
stick.
often he got wrecked in 007. You can just hear it in his voice.
Pull up, hit the left way to pull out your Dooku stick, and you hit the wrong thing, and like you hit the middle thing, and it's like throw a Dooku seed, and you're like, what the fuck?
I can see some skill issues. But anyways, it's got some programmable back buttons as well. It's a very well built controller. I was a little concerned because you never know what you're getting with these third party controllers. My one takeaway, as I already said, very huge, large. So keep that in mind. But it fits onto.
I need a huge drop. Huge.
Huge. It fits onto your Switch. You can play it in handheld mode if you so choose. But I use it primarily in controller mode. It's got turbo buttons. It's pretty neat. If you want to throw back, if you play the Switch a lot, like some of us do, and you want to throw back, if you really enjoyed the GameCube controller, check it out. We'll put a link in the show description and in the chat GPT. No, in the transcript. So.
Transcript http://
www.amozon.com/
So you kind of glazed over it, but when you said it fits on your Switch, I didn't realize that this thing comes apart.
Yes.
And has it. Yeah.
So it acts as.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it acts as it is like a Joy-Con, like your normal Joy-Cons on your Switch, where they are separate. They can slide on.
Okay,
your Switch.
I'm slightly more intrigued by this now.
Yeah, but let me show you this thing just because I have the Switch OLED right here
For the listeners.
Like as somebody who has like somebody who has like Chris, like you have bigger hands than me, but like I also have very large hands. Like the Joy-Con controllers themselves, Joy-Cons,
they're pretty small. They're pretty small.
They're small.
Yeah.
Like I would like something a little bit more meatier for my paws to hold on to.
But look at this thing when it's fully assembled. This isn't even my final form.
Okay.
That's
So-
freaking awesome.
Listeners, you can't see it, but if you ever seen the movie Big with the keyboard scene, that's exactly what Chris is doing right now. He's jumping from the X to the Y button.
So yeah, there it is. That's fully assembled. I've been enjoying it. I've been using it more than my Joy-Cons at this point. So if you're looking for an alternative to Joy-Cons or other remote controls, check it out.
Does it fit in the dock with the controller on it?
It does, barely. But it does.
Okay.
You have to be pretty precise with your placement.
If you put a little bit of foam padding underneath the dock and lifted it up about 1/4 of an inch, would it fit better?
No, I mean it does fit. It's just you have to be pretty straightforward. There's no side tilt on this thing. You got to go straight down. But I'll put a link in the show notes, and you guys should all go maybe get one.
Cool.
Do they?
I ordered a new Joy-Con on Monday, so thanks for the timely handle.
Oh man, that stinks because they're definitely. It's cheaper to buy one of these than it is a Joy-Con because they're freaking expensive.
Oh no, not the Nintendo.
Oh,
ones.
okay,
Fuck that.
got you.
Yeah, no.
I want to get, and I've seen them out there. They remade the large, like original Xbox controller.
Ooh.
Like the big, not the one when they the Wavebird. I don't know what it was like. It was a circle essentially.
The OG one, the one that came with Xbox.
Yeah, except for that they moved the black and the white buttons into trigger form.
Oh.
Because they eventually moved them up to bumpers. So they moved it all, and they had like this big colossal controller now. And I want to get one for PC gaming. I think that would be cool because those controllers, that was my favorite controller. It was just such a cool controller.
I want to get a Dreamcast controller, but the window is the Switch.
Oh man.
People on planes
All right,
hate them.
Todd, who's next?
I guess I'll go next in this situation. Just because I do the outro, and it's always awkward when I have to continue to talk with no break. My handle this week is actually going to be a tip for homeowners. So, in the winter, a lot of homeowners, myself included, given how old our house is, we have an issue with mice getting into the basement. And so I went through this entire process of trying to figure out exactly how to find where the mouse holes are and plug them and solve them so the mice can't get in. And this has been my project for the past week and a half, and so far so good. So first thing what I did was I bought a cheap outdoor camera off of Amazon. Amazon has a company that they own called Blink, which basically competes with Ring, which Amazon also owns. So Amazon owns both Blink and Ring, but Ring is the more expensive version of Blink. So I bought a Blink outdoor camera. It was like $50. And I bought like a tripod for it that was $7. So $57 all in here. I put the tripod up, put the camera on it, put it outside where I thought the mice were coming in. And I turned up all the settings so anytime something moved, the camera clicks on, it records, and you can watch where the mouse runs into your foundation. Great. I found out where the mice were coming into my house. How do you solve the problem once you have the mouse, or once you figured it out? Well, you have to go to Lowe's or Home Depot or your local hardware store, buy some steel wool and some spray foam. And the lady at Lowe's told me that if you take a broken light bulb, this also helps too. But anyways, you take the steel wool and you shove it into the hole where the mouse is getting in, and it basically blocks up the hole from both sides because mice, given their whiskers, they don't want to run through steel wool. It bothers them, so they won't run at it. But then, to be certain that they can't just bite the steel wool and pull it out, take spray foam and spray over the steel wool. Let it harden. Therefore, you've blocked the mice from ever being able to shoot through the styrofoam or shoot through the spray foam, and then if for whatever reason it does, the steel wool is also in the way. What the lady at Home Depot or Lowe's told me with the broken light bulb, it's supposed to sprinkle the broken light bulb on top of the steel wool because the glass, even though it's not going to cut you as a human, mice's paws are a lot less robust than ours. They're thick. They're a lot weaker. So if they ever come in contact with steel wool, the glass that's mixed in there will cut their paws and they'll run away as well. So I've been doing this so far in my house, and I have plugged 4 holes. And every day I move the blink camera around my foundation a little bit more to find out where the mice are coming in. It's the perks of owning a house that was built 100 years ago, where you have to find these things. But for anybody who has mice coming into their house, that's the best way to do it. It's all in. It's cost me less than $100 to fix my house, and I didn't have to hire a professional. Did it all myself, and you feel a little good after you're doing it, because you're like, oh, I did something on my own.
So for the show notes, what's the Home Depot's ladies website?
Well, I figured we could put the blink camera up there. We could throw up a YouTube video too that I watched.
Well, how did you attain all of this secret mice removal knowledge?
YouTube.
Okay, so you got a video.
I do have a video, and the guy even shows you the blink camera that he used. Same blink camera I used.
Just as a word of warning, this won't work on mice named Todd. If Ted, fine. But if they're Todd, the camera won't pick them up.
It's true. That's technology for you.
Yeah.
No, but it's a lot of people are homeowners. A lot of people have mouse problems. And Chris, I don't know if you have mouse problems in your basement. I don't even know if you have a basement.
I do, and so far, no mice.
He's got 99 problems.
But a mice ain't one.
Well, if they ever happen to become issues, at least you know how to solve them now. Because what I was hearing mice like in the walls of my house, and I was like, what is happening? And I found a hole that I could stick 2 of my fingers right in, and I was like, well, that's exactly how they're getting in. So that's my handle. I guess Obert, you're the only one left.
It's good. I was trying to find the GIF of that scene in The Matrix where they're in the walls, and the guy's like, they're in the walls, but I couldn't in time. So it's time for my handle, and that is following up with Chris's handle to make a nice little mousetrap sandwich. It's also game related.
You don't want to be the sandwich of a mousetrap.
No, that's the mouse.
Fun
fact.
One more story before you go. I bought some new mousetraps during this process before I discovered how to keep them out permanently. And I accidentally I was looking away from the mousetrap that I had open, and my finger grazed the mousetrap clicker, and I don't think I've screamed so loud in like 20 years. Like that fucker hurt. And it's
heard
not
Ted scream very loudly too.
It was not the normal mousetrap, like the metal one. It was like the hard, like plastic one, because like they're better now. Like there's no way that a mouse is getting away from this thing once it snaps it down. This fucker, it hurt, and it left a mark. Like you can see my thumb.
Ooh, ouch!
It got you.
Like I have a legit cut from the mousetrap.
Okay, so to be the not the thumb of the sandwich here, I have a game that I think actually both of you might be interested in. It's a 2 to 4 person board game. It is a legacy game, which means that it's a game that you can play multiple sessions of, and every time you go back to the game, it's going to have new rules, and the board is going to change. The game's going to change a little bit. The game is called My City. This is a recommendation from friend of the podcast, Doug, who's probably the guy who I know who's most into board games. But have either of you played Blockus? Are you familiar with the game Blockus? It's kind of like Tetris in the fact that you're trying to arrange certain shaped pieces that kind of like conform to a pixelated kind of a grid shape in a board, right?
Okay.
The difference is, it's not like Tetris where the lines go away. You're playing against another person. And so you have a board, we'll say like it's a 10 by 10 grid with 100 spaces. And you have all of these little board pieces that you need to fit nicely into your game. And there's certain rules as to how you can place these pieces. But at the end of the game session, you're going to score points based on how well you put your pieces in. So if you're someone who's like really good with spatial organization, that type of game, if you like Tetris, this might be a game that's up your alley. But the thing that I like about it is, okay, so you then basically whoever wins, whoever loses, you get a certain number of points towards the overall legacy scoring system, meaning like that's going to continue on to the next game.
Okay.
And then the winner gets a little bit of a penalty and the loser gets a little bit of a boost to help them in future sessions. So it has a nice catch-up mechanic where the mechanics of the game allow the two players to kind of keep evenly skilled as the game progresses, as you score further and further, and as the board develops. I think in the game there are 8 sessions, or 8 chapters. Sorry, there are 8 chapters, and each chapter has 3 individual sessions. So you play the game 3 times. A playthrough takes about 20 to 30 minutes. And
so you could take a break and come back.
So yeah, so how I've been doing it is I play through 1 chapter of 3 rounds of the game, and then I put it away, come back to it next week. And the stakes are so much higher when you know that, like, whether you win or lose, that's going to affect you the next time you play, right? So I have played a legacy game with Chris before. It was a lot of fun, but it was a cooperative game. Whereas this is a competitive game. And it's been a good time. I think I'm on chapter 6, like I said, of 8, and it's I think it's $50. The other thing with legacy games is you manipulate the board. You put new stickers on it. You write on it. It's a game you only play through 1 time. But, it's how many games are you really going to play more than, 8 or so times, right? So you get your money's worth for sure. But I've been enjoying it. And if you're someone who likes Tetris, if you're someone who plays Blockus and likes it, this is definitely a game I would recommend checking out. It's a good one.
All right. I'm intrigued. I don't know what a legacy game is. It's like it's an entirely new thing.
Yeah. So, Chris, how would you describe a legacy game? Did I leave anything out?
No, I don't think so. I think you kind of described it, but I mean, I've played one before. I don't know. It's I don't know. I enjoyed the one we ended up playing together. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did Pandemic, which was Pandemic Legacy.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just like a long continuing game that changes over time. Like different things, different mechanics, different things change as the game progresses. So it's like playing a video game on a board or something like that.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like, okay, we're gonna play Monopoly, but okay, after the first time you play Monopoly, whoever wins, next time you need to put 5 houses down before you can get a hotel.
Yeah.
Right? Like that kind of thing where it's like it's a whole new session of Monopoly, but there's every time the rules are a little different, right? And it's really intriguing being like, oh, how am I going to play with the new rules that I didn't know about until right now? You're both, you're playing this new scenario, trying to learn and understand the new rules the first time. It makes it a lot more challenging and fun to learn and master.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to have to see.
Yeah.
And with that, we'd like to thank you all for listening. We would like to thank the breweries who provided today's beers. I will thank Pint House Brewing and Alvarado Street Brewing for their Jaguar Shark Deep Search Alvarado Street 2022.
I would like to thank Treehouse for their double shot 4th anniversary.
And I'm going to thank Boulevard Brewing Company for their Brewabunga Cove.
Please make sure you head over to all social medias and follow us everywhere at DAWF Podcast. Also, make sure you follow the emails at dawfpodcast@gmail.com. Also, head over to Discord and join the live conversation over there. People were sharing pictures of their turkeys around Thanksgiving, so that was pretty cool to see. A lot of them looked really good.
I missed that.
Yeah, so check that out if you want to see some good turkeys and get all hungry for turkey again. I don't know about you guys, but I am leftovered out. I've had enough turkey. I'm done with it for the time being. But tune in next year when I review my smoked and deep fried turkey, because that'll be a new thing.
Wow, look at these turkeys. These are amazing.
Also, head over to Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, you can support the podcast. It helps us monetarily pay for things like hosting fees or doing cool trips. Like when we went to Asheville, we paid for part of that trip with the money that we got from Patreon. So head over there. Really helps out. You can also get bonus episodes of the podcast when you do that as well. And finally, if you don't feel like doing that and you don't feel like helping us out monetarily, you don't feel like joining the Discord, well, luckily for you, there's a few other things you can do. You can click on the podcast app you're listening to now and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. That's any podcast app, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, doesn't matter. 5-star rating and a review. And if you really are lazy and you don't feel like doing that, and I'm speaking to one of our friends here in particular, his name is Ben. He is very lazy. I would suggest that Ben tell people that he just talks to on a daily basis to listen to the podcast. Because word of mouth is still one of the best ways that you can help us out with, or help us out spread the word about this podcast. So go do that, help us out. And with that, my name is Todd.
My name is Chris.
And I'm Obert. And remember, if you're drinking alone, do it with friends. I gotta say, these are some really tasty looking turkeys.
Yeah, there's some banger turkeys on Thanksgiving. Y'all eating good in the neighborhood. Oh, we should coin that phrase.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
I like how it rhymes and everything. To make a commercial with that. But yeah, you guys had good turkeys this year?
Yes.
They came out very good.
Good turkeys.
Yeah,
Good turkeys.
delicious. I think I've mastered the smoking of the turkey. Now it's time to move on, as I said.
First smoked, first brined, then smoked, then fried, then garnished, then spatchcocked, then double fried.
I think I don't know if I can incorporate more than 3 ways
This is
of cooking
Tud's
this.
2050 Thanksgiving.